Midnight Mass is the third part of the anthology by Mike Flanagan. The first part was The Haunting of the Hill House, and the second was The Haunting of Bly House. With Midnight Mass, the horror series recipe that has been so successful returns. Flanagan brings some of the cast from the first two parts back to the latest installment, but also includes a couple of fresh new faces. This is the Midnight Mass release date, cast, plot, and more. But before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as well as hit the post notification button so you're always kept up to date about what we put out. What's the series about anyway? The new series Midnight Mass follows an isolated island community as they experience, quote, miraculous events and frightening omens following the arrival of a charismatic, mysterious young priest, end quote. The series Midnight Mass is actually based on a fictional book from previous Mike Flanagan projects. The story itself is connected to what happens in the films Hush and Gerald's Game, seeing as Midnight Mass happens to be the book Maddie Young, Kate Siegel, writes in Hush, later appeared in Gerald's Game. As far as we know, Netflix has ordered 7 episodes and it's gonna be R-rated. When will Midnight Mass be released? The creator Mike Flanagan tweeted on December 16th, 2020, quote, "That's a wrap on Midnight Mass. It's been an extraordinary, unprecedented production, and I cannot be prouder of this amazing cast and crew. In fact, and I do not say this lightly, this has been the best production experience of my career," end quote. A 2021 release date still seems likely, as Mike Flanagan's upcoming horror series is currently expected to be released sometime later this year. So keep your eyes on Flanagan's Twitter feed for exact dates. Fortunately, he is someone who does not let his fans wonder. If he knows something, he shares it. As tweeted by Flanagan, production was in full swing as of August 2020. Their initial prediction for a release month was August 2021, and so far, they're sticking with that date. It might even come out in October to coincide with Halloween. Midnight Mass will mark the 5th Netflix production created by Flanagan, and after this new series, his next project called The Midnight Club will also be screened on Netflix. That series will be based on the novel of the same name by Christopher Pike. Flanagan had announced via Twitter that he inevitably managed to shoot Midnight Mass during the global health situation without much interruption. Following its initial shutdown in March, the upcoming show was said to have filmed quietly in Vancouver after the cast and crew resumed production in July 2020. The cast for Midnight Mass. The cast for Midnight Mass includes cast members from The Haunting of the Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor returning. The cast for the latest offering includes Kate Siegel from Hush, The Haunting of Hill House, and Gerald's Game, Hamish Linklater from Big Short, Battleship, and Fantastic Four, Zach Gilford, known for The Purge, Anarchy, The Last Winter, and Dare, Annabeth Gish from Mystic Pizza, Nixon, and Beautiful Girls, and lastly, Michael Trucco from Next, Hush, and Hunter Killer. Further cast members also include Samantha Sloyan, also known for Hush, Grey's Anatomy, and No Shoulder, Henry Thomas from E.T. the Extraterrestrial, 1114, and returns from The Haunting of Hill House, Rahul Abburi from Good Game and Killer Ransom, Crystal Blaint of the Bleachy Circle, San Francisco, Prison Break, and Mech X4, Matt Biedel from Altered Carbon, Mad Men, and The Umbrella Academy, Alex Esseo, who we know from Starry Eyes, Dr. Sheep, and House of Lies, Rule Coney from Supergirl, Happy Anniversary, and iZombie, Kristen Lehman from The Chronicles of Riddick, Loft, and Motive, Robert Longstreet from The Haunting of Hill House, Dr. Sleep, and The Old Man and the Gun, Igby Rigney, known from Blue Bloods and Out of My Comfort Zone, and lastly, Anara Shepard, who is still an unknown. Kate Siegel will probably play the lead role. Kate Siegel is one of Mike Flanagan's favorites, probably because they're married. She appears in much of his work, and she'll even be portraying one of the main roles in Midnight Mass. It's been suggested that she's going to play the lead role. Kate Gordon Singlebaum, born in 1982 in Silver Springs, Maryland, is known professionally as Kate Siegel. She is an actress and a screenwriter, where she is best known for her collaborations with her husband, appearing in films such as Oculus, Hush, Ouija Origin of Evil, and Gerald's Game, as well as his television series The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor. Siegel and Flanagan have been married since February 2016. Nothing is known about her previous relationships. A reminder of what had happened in The Haunting of Bly Mansion. Since Flanagan's style is kind of set in stone, we want to recap The Haunting of Bly Mansion to remind you what he's capable of and what to possibly expect style-wise in Midnight Mass. Mike Flanagan followed up his first in the horror anthology with The Haunting of Bly Manor, a gothic romance-influenced ghost story based on on Henry James's novella, The Turn of the Screw. The cast was well chosen for the series. This series is nowhere near as scary as The Haunting of Hill House, but it's good in its own way. We loved the perfectly gothic look of the Bly Manor and the atmosphere of the show. With this series less scary than Hill House, we expect Midnight Mass to be even scarier. All 9 episodes are about the characters that are in this tale, where, one by one, their deep, dark, and chilling secrets are revealed. This show may have been long, but the detail and other work done on it is amazing. Danny Clayton, played by the beautiful Victoria Pedretti, a young American au pair with just as many secrets as the family she's hired to work for, finds herself in the glorious Bly Manor to take care of Miles and Flora Wingrave, played by the intensely charming Benjamin Evan Ainsworth and Emily Smith. But it's not all what it seems to be, with everyone having their own secrets. Flanagan remarkably showcases every character and their backstory one by one. This show is hypnotic and makes you feel the sadness and trauma that every character feels. Every layer of trauma and scariness is revealed slowly to the fascination and horror of the audience. The series is an adaptation from the film series The Innocents from 1961, The Turn of the Screw 1974, and The Turn of the Screw 2009. On average, Rotten Tomatoes had it at an 87% out of 47 reviews, which are positive for The Haunting of Bly Manor, and the average rating is 7.29 out of 10. The critical consciousness reads, quote, "It may not be as scary as its predecessor, but with plenty of spooky tricks inside its haunted halls and a strong sense of heart, The Haunting of Bly Manor is another solid entry into Mike Flanagan's growing horrography." On Metacritic, the series received a weighted average score of 65 out of 100 based on 11 critics, including quote-unquote generally positive reviews. It's Mike Flanagan's style of horrific storytelling that ends up making the show work, and it's the same recipe where we should see in Midnight Mass. But then again, we can be completely wrong. Everything we know about Midnight Mass. Filmmaker Mike Flanagan is at the peak of his career right now. In 2018, he created and directed the award-winning Netflix series The Haunting of Hill House. This series was such a success that it was announced in February 2019 that Netflix was ordering a second season of the horror series, for which Trevor Macy is an executive producer. However, this is not the only horror series created by Mike Flanagan that you can expect to see on Netflix. Alongside Trevor Macy, he has been busy working on another series to be able to give us some lovely chills. The setting for the chilling story is an isolated island community. Following the arrival of a man of the cloth in town, members of the community begin to witness some rather unsettling phenomena. If Flanagan's previous work in the horror genre is anything to go by, which it probably is, then the series will have viewers gripped and sitting on the edge of their seats. Mike Flanagan is set to direct the entire series and will act as an executive producer alongside Ted Macy. They signed the deal at the same time as the second season of The Haunting of Hill House. Both orders from Netflix are part of a multi-year overall television deal, which could end up seeing Flanagan and Macy continuing to collaborate on projects which are exclusively earmarked for Netflix. They have a partnership under the banner of Interpret Pictures. This is the company that is responsible for producing both films and television series by the pair. Midnight Mass and The Haunting of Bly House are not the only projects on which Flanagan and Macy have been working on as part of their deal with Netflix. In fact, the duo has had a busy schedule over the previous year, and this is expected to continue in the coming year. Other projects on which they have worked together include films Before I Wake, Gerald's Game, and Hush. Recently, Hamish Linklater, Legion, had the following to say to Collier. He would go on to say, quote, "We finished that just before Christmas. It was really so wonderful because it was such challenging circumstances. That's a wonderful creator in Mike Flanagan. And he put together a wonderful ensemble of people. We were all in our Canadian lockdown, all the way from home in these foreign homes. You come to work and you take off your PPE for long enough to do a scene and then put yourself away again. It was wild. We were in this shutdown situation and then we were actually allowed to do the jobs that we love to do for a brief second. It was just such an exhale. It was really a wonderful experience." End quote. The details about Midnight Mass might be slim, but we know what Mike Flanagan is capable of. All of his fans are waiting with bated breath for his next treat. It definitely will be worth the hype. That's it for today. Join us next time for more fascinating videos, and until next time guys, we'll see you later.